Welcome back to AM Northwest. With the elimination of most workplace pension plans and the threat of Social Security going away, 401k's will be the primary source for retirement funds. So here with advice, we welcome back financial planning and consulting specialist David Swanson. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Tammy.
So 401k's are where it's at, it sounds like. Super important.
Yeah, they are. And our government is getting ready to make some big changes. And they have, in most cases, pensions have gone away for the very few elite people that work in the federal government and the state and unions and a few other exceptions. Pensions are in place. But for everybody else, we're on our own. And so Congress...
That doesn't sound good, David.
Well, it's just the way it is. The burden is shifted to us, and it doesn't matter what you really think about it. It's what it is. So the world is moving to take care of yourself, not to have the government take care of you. Now, Social Security will be in place. Any other pensions that you have should be there. But this bulk of your savings will come from the money that you and your employer have set aside in this plan. Now, the government initially, last year, some very prominent people on the committee wanted to actually lower the limits that you could put into your 401k down to almost $3,000.
That's bad, right?
Very bad. Because it's counterintuitive to what we just spoke to.
Because we want to save more. We want to have more for our retirement because we're going to live to be 100. So old.
We're going to live to be 100.
Yes.
So, because we're all going to do the right things. Now, that same senator now has changed his tune, and he wants to have maximum caps in 401k's within 1 year. So, please pay attention to what your Congress people are doing and your representatives, and make sure that they're understanding that you have to take care of yourself, and you need to be able to put away as much money as you can for the future. Right. And once you quit working, that's it. That's all you have.
Right.
So,
so what can we do? So what's the strategy then?
So here's some problems that people have with their 401k's right now. First of all, and Congress is trying to address this. First of all, statements are way too complicated. You look at it, you don't understand
not
what
at
they
all.
are.
My eyes just glaze over.
Right. The choices that you have in most cases are limited and not even in areas that you want to invest. And the second thing, the next thing is that the fees typically are pretty high, and so we're trying to reduce those fees. But at the end of the day, you, the consumer, you don't understand what's going on, and you have no one to help you. And we need to fix that, and Congress is trying to fix that. Now, a lot of people over the years from AM Northwest have called me about their retirement accounts, and we talk a lot about 401k's. And some of the things that people are really, really, really confused about is that they don't have anyone to help them. Their advisor doesn't call them. That's their biggest complaint. And so when they look at their statement, they can't see what it is. When we put our statements together, there's two things. The very first two items that we have on all of our statements: what it costs you and what your rate of return is. And if you need to know any more than that, you can dig into the statement, but most people can't even find those very two simple things in any statement that they have.
That's exactly right.
Which is what you want to know, right? What did I make and what did I pay last year for you to do this for me? Well, that's where we need to be moving towards. So we build and design very simple retirement plans. We build a 30-year outlook for your income for the rest of your life. You have got to be more reliant on the savings that you have. You must be smarter. You must save more money. You must reduce your debt. You must have a plan in place that will be consistent with what the things you want to do in retirement, or you end up working forever. Or even worse, you end up working and you actually had enough money in front of you, you just weren't organized to know that. So either way, you need to give us a call, sit down, have a fiduciary advisor review what your situation is and help you.
And you need to find a fiduciary, and that's what you are. So you're going to stay right here. When we come back, David is going to answer your retirement planning questions, so don't go away. Thanks for watching AM Northwest. David Swanson from Swanson Financial is back to answer your retirement planning questions. So here's question number one. You ready, David?
I'm here.
Our company stopped the pension plan about 5 years ago. Now we have a 401k, but choices are so complicated, I never know if I'm making the best decisions. Can you help me?
Absolutely. And we might not be able to change what's on your statement, but we can help you figure out how to read it and understand what you have. A big mistake that a lot of people are making right now is they have Diversification, that's the word. Well, sometimes spreading assets out into really risky areas can be not good for you. For those of you that have been monitoring, this world situation is not so good right now. The United States is we're very, very powerful. We haven't seen much of a change, but overseas things are pretty bad. For example, in China, corporations that would borrow money in the 3 to 5 year range last year paid around 4%. This year they pay 8%.
So that impacts everything else in the world,
Of
right?
course, and when you have to pay something more for a good or service, does that mean it's less risky or more risky? Well, it means it's more risky, right? So the overseas environment is very, very different than what the domestic environment is. So in your 401k, you may be subject to things that are super risky that you don't even know about. So you really need to have an expert. If you don't understand what's going on, give us a call and we'll be happy to look at your statements and let you know if you're at risk.
Okay, that sounds good. Question number 2. My wife and I are close to retirement. We have most of our money in the stock market. Our advisor keeps telling us to let it ride. I think we're gambling too much. Can you give us a second opinion?
We absolutely would, and we see this almost every day. And what happens is that when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you have a much different outlook towards growth because you have more years to work. And if you make a mistake or the market moves against you, you have time to earn that money back. When you're in the last few years of your retirement or even the last few months, if you're planning and investing like you're 20, 30, or 40, you have way too much risk. You don't have the time to earn that back. So what happens is most advisors, they get paid for being in the environment, in the stock market, and if you go safe and put it in the money market account or some other lower yielding investment, they don't get paid as much commission, and that's a super problem.
That's an important thing to know
Yes,
about.
it is.
Right. Okay, question number 3. Over the years, I've worked for several employers. I had just left my 401k's at each company. Now I'm retiring. Can I consolidate them into one account?
We see this all the time. So we develop a traditional IRA, whether they're Roth, which is tax-free, or traditional IRA, which is tax-deferred, and we assign those accounts all in one. You can put them in each of those types of accounts, have those assets all consolidated in one place, and then you don't have to call all the employers to get all your money. You want it in one spot, and we can help you with that.
I'm seeing more and more why it's really important to have someone like you in life, right? Okay, here's another question. You ready? My 401k statement is so complicated, I don't understand it. When I ask my advisor at the 800 number, they just try to get me off the phone as fast as possible. How can I educate myself on what I own?
Okay, super great question. And the paradigm of that question is I want to learn is absolutely essential because the buck stops on your desk, because if there's a mistake, you're the one who pays for it. So learning and educating yourself to the level that you can. Start slow and go forward. We offer workshops. They're free. We have them typically 2 times a month. You can look on our website. They're all there. They're in your neighborhood. No doubt we'll have one in your local area. So just come in. It's free. Just go do it. Or just pick up the telephone and give us a call, and we'll help you get started in understanding what you own. Because if you don't know what you own and there's a problem, you're never going to be able to fix it.
Okay, and you just mentioned the retirement planning seminars, so we'll have all that information on our website and a link to your website, Swanson Financial. The number there is 503-603-9900. Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome.
Important information.